Hi, I'm LaScola from American Seasons on Nantucket, Massachusetts, and today we're going to do sautéed day boat scallops with cauliflower veloute and a brown butter, a golden raisin, and toasted almond vinaigrette. Basically, we're going to start with the cauliflower veloute, which is cauliflower, which is just basically cut into florets, and it's going to be just lightly poached off, and some heavy cream, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of salt, and a touch of sugar. So, and then lightly strained out. So we just focus mainly on the flavor of the cauliflower without diluting it with too many other flavors. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to take a pot, take our florets, put it into a medium-sized sauce pot, lightly season, a little bit of salt, cover with a little heavy cream, and then just a little bit of water just to cover. And we're going to place that on the stove for about 20 minutes until they're really soft. So the cauliflower's been on for about 20 minutes now, and basically what we want to do is we just want to cook it until it's soft. You don't want to overcook it because it'll start to get kind of grainy and it'll get almost too strong of a cauliflower taste. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to take the cauliflower, not using all the liquid, but just enough so I get a consistency of basically like a loose mayonnaise kind of consistency is what you're kind of looking for as far as the puree goes. So I'll take a couple ladles and a little bit of liquid right in a blender. And then I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt and a touch of sugar. And basically what that's going to do, it's going to balance out the flavor of the cauliflower. But you don't want to season too much. You don't want it too salty and you don't want it too sweet. You just want a little bit of each. So I'm going to put a little bit of cauliflower in there. And then we're just going to season with a little bit of salt and a touch of sugar. And we're going to blend till smooth. If you don't have a high power blender like this, then you can use a regular home blender, or you can even use a Cuisinart, but you may have to strain it, pass it through a strainer, depending on how smooth you want it to be. But if you cook your cauliflower correctly, you'll have no problem getting it really smooth. So we'll just blend it up. So the first thing we're going to do, now that we made our veloute, is we're going to add onions, a little bit of chopped garlic to a bowl. I'm going to use just a dollop of Dijon mustard. A little bit of capers. Some golden raisins, and when I use raisins in cooking, I like to bloom them overnight in water so they're not too chewy. If you want to add a little bit of sugar to that water too, it kind of helps bring out the flavor of the raisins. But golden raisins are just basically white grapes which have been dried out, and but blooming them really gives them a nice texture in your dish. So we're just going to add a little bit of about two tablespoons of that, and then we're going to add a little bit of sherry vinegar, pinch of salt, pinch of sugar, and then some brown butter. Now, brown butter is one of these things where it could be either underbrowned or overbrowned, which will be burnt. If it is burnt, definitely don't use it because it'll make your dish taste burnt. If it's not browned enough, it'll definitely make your dish taste oily, and you don't want that either. So basically what we're looking for here is a nice golden brown, and just bring it up. As soon as you start to smell a nice toasty nuttiness to the butter, just pull it off and let it sit, and then it'll be a perfect brown butter there. And you want to actually make sure this is warm before you add it to your vinaigrette so it doesn't clump up on you. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that, just kind of whisk it in. And then at the last minute, just finish it with a little bit of chopped chives. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put this back into the pot, and just keep it warm on the stove. And we're going to use this to finish our dish. And that is the raisin almond brown butter vinaigrette. Okay, now we're going to sear our scallops. How I usually sear scallops here at the restaurant is I like to cook them medium rare. The best way to do that is you want to have your pan at a pretty good, high temperature with a fair amount of oil in it. Lightly season your scallops. On one side, you want to get a nice golden brown sear on them, which they call doré, and then flip them over. And then basically the best way to cook scallops is medium rare. If you overcook them, they become really rubbery, almost like erasers, as some people like to say. But the best way, especially when they're this size, is to definitely go medium rare with them. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pan on the stove. We're going to put a little bit of oil in there. And then we're going to lightly season our scallops, a little bit of salt and pepper. And then, as you can see in the pan, we're going to have a little bit of ripples going on and just a touch of smoke. That means your pan's really hot. And then you want to put your scallops flat side down. So as you can see, we've got a nice little brown, golden brown there around the side. And we'll just flip them. And you want to get a nice even brown on the other side as well. Okay, now that the scallops are seared, the best way to tell that they're done is to just give them a little press. If you're pressing down and they have a little give to them, that means they're medium rare. If you press down and they're really firm, that means that they're a little overcooked. Some people like their scallops cooked all the way through, and there's nothing wrong with that either, if that's your preference. But for me, the best way to do it is medium rare. If you press down and there's a lot of give, that means they're pretty rare inside. But you just want a little bit of bounce to your scallops, and then you'll know that they're done. Okay, so now that we have all our ingredients and all our components done, we're going to plate up. The vessel that I like to use is a bowl for this dish, just because the veloute is a little loose, and same with the vinaigrette, and it kind of keeps it all contained. So when you eat your scallops, you're getting everything in one bite. So the first thing we're going to put down is going to be the cauliflower veloute. And you don't need a lot. You just need just a little nice tight pool in the middle of the bowl. And then we're going to put our vinaigrette down. And this vinaigrette's pretty intense, so you don't need a lot. You just, a lot down, but you want to make sure you have a lot of the goods in there, like the raisins and the almonds and the capers. Not just the butter and the vinegar. So you get a little bit in each bite. And then I'm just going to place the scallops right down in the middle. I'm going to garnish it with a little extra toasted almond. And then for a final touch, if you can get these, that's great. If not, you can use like a soft herb mix of chives and parsley and dill or cilantro, or anything you want to use. Or if you can get a hold of these, we use these a lot. These are microgreens, which are basically sprouts of certain lettuces, and they're done from the local farm here, Bartlett's Farm on Nantucket. And we just use these for a little bit of garnishing and a little bit in certain salads. And we're just going to do just a nice tight little pile on top, just kind of give it a little freshness and a little bit of green. And that's it. That's our sautéed scallops with cauliflower veloute and a raisin almond brown butter vinaigrette.